All right, so the meetup has started. People can join now, and the recording has also started. So I'm gonna hide my video and mute myself. Have fun.
Thanks, Benji.
Awesome.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining the meetup today. Should we wait a couple of minutes? Give people a couple more minutes to connect. Oh, I see Luke here. Hi, Luke. People started joining. All right. Maybe we can slowly get started. Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome to the DataViz Meetup Zurich. This is our 23rd meetup, and it's the last one of 2021. Thank you all for joining today, and thank you, Pablo, for making time for us. My name is Christina. I am one of the co-founders together with Benjamin Wiedeke and Gabriele Lang. I work for Z Creative Labs, a small data visualization studio based in Zurich. So this meetup, for those who are new, we made it to share experiences and exchange experiences with everyone interested in DataViz. So it originally started in Zurich. Now, since we're online, anyone is welcome to join. And today we have Pablo Robles with us. And Pablo is an award-winning journalist who is going to talk to us today about mapping the story. He's going to tell us about his work at Bloomberg and South China Morning Post, where he was a visual editor. And I strongly encourage you to visit Pablo's website and see some of the amazing work he has there. I was very impressed, and I love the visual ways in which you made these stories, and especially in print. I think they look beautiful, so I look forward to hearing more about that. And the presentation, we're hoping it will last about 40 minutes, and please use the Q&A button to ask any questions. And at the end, Pablo will try to answer some of them. You can ask questions at any time, and just, yeah, we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. All right, I think I will hand over to Pablo. Pablo, you have the floor.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Christina and Benjamin, for having me, and all the people just attending this. I'm excited to share a lot about my work and explain you 3 different kind of ways of using mapping for storytelling. So let me share my presentation now, and we can start. So yeah, and please let me know if you are looking at my presentation actually. Okay, so I will just switch to this. Okay, so yeah, well, as Christina said, I'm Pablo Robles. I'm from Costa Rica, and I was working for almost 6 years in Hong Kong. I worked for S&P, and then I just moved to Bloomberg, and now I will be a visual editor for New York Times next January. So basically, my talk is about we'll talk about the different kind of ways that I'm using all of these years to tell the stories. I am like a graphic journalist, visual journalist, or visual editor, but I'm not cartographer. So just a disclaimer that if you ask me, if a real cartography asks me real stuff, I will just, I don't have any clue about it. So I just do disclaimer that I'm not cartographer. So yeah, let's start with the talk, and I hope that you can guys enjoy. As you know, the talk is about the use of cartography as the focal point stories. So mainly the presentation will be talking about that. I will show you a few examples that I divide the presentation into groups. So it's like locator maps, like big features, and then another kind of style. So I will explain a little bit the difference between all of the 3 types of storytelling. And also I will show some example of my projects when I use this kind of stuff. This is not in the books and everything. It's just my interpretation. So as I said, I'm just, I soon I will be visual editor in New York Times. previously I was working for graphic journalist for Bloomberg for almost 1.5 years in Hong Kong. And then also I was working as senior graphic editor at S&P, where I was leading the digital graphic production, the templates, and also I was collaborating and managed engineers to build this kind of internal tools that you can actually create charts for the reporters. And beside of that, also I was doing like my own stuff, my own pitch, my own story, the print graphics that I really, really enjoy it, and obviously the digital. I know a little bit code, but I'm mainly graphic design itself. I'm a journalist. I study architecture, and it's kind of my background is kind of crazy because I studied photojournalism because I really like to take photos and videos. But I studied architecture for a while, but I'm undergraduate, and then I don't know, the destiny just pushed me. Just keep doing graphics, and also I work in a lot of time doing communication design or information design for museums. And then I work for Costa Rica, the main newspaper here in La Nación. I worked before just jumped to Hong Kong. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm worried because I'm using this new iPad, so I have no clue how it works. So yeah, the 3 types of mapping. The locator map, all the people think that this is very boring, but if you use it right, that will be very, very impactful. So let's start with locator maps. I know that everyone uses locator map for all of these kind of stories. So I will show you one example, specifically one project that actually I use a lot of locator maps, and it was huge, and the impact of this for the readers was huge. So, I was living in Hong Kong when all of this protests happened. That was massive every day. And that time I was in Costa Rica, right now I'm in Costa Rica. So I was visiting my parents, my mom here in Costa Rica, and I just see the news and I see a lot of fake news about it. So I was thinking, oh no, I need to come back to my office and tell my boss that I really, really want to do, because they were showing the same images for different days. And this protest happened for them more 1 year or something like that. So, and the level of violence was very high and low. So I was thinking, no, I need to say the truth. I have the obligation to show everyone. And especially because we were the main newspaper in Hong Kong in English. So I have the obligation I tell my boss, I need to do something crazy and need to do it huge. This was a kind of controversial story because obviously we cannot show the real violence, or not the real violence. You need to be very neutral in this kind of story. So for this one, when I just get there in Hong Kong, I say, okay, I need to do a huge map. For this map, I just started doing buildings because Hong Kong is mostly buildings. And also because the protest happening only on the street. So I used, what about if we can do a very abstract map? So you showing highways and buildings. So I just started a huge Google file for all of these maps. And then I just exported for Illustrator. And then, at this time, we don't have the real data. So I just started a Google spreadsheet when we put all the data every day about because the police do their reports every day at 4 p.m. They release a report and say how many tear gas, how many police injured, how many arrested, which areas, and also we have a lot of reporters in field, and also sometimes I did it as well. So we just do like this huge Google spreadsheet when we put the coordinates and we put all the locations and all the streets, and we have me and another colleague, I asked for help because actually I was leading the digital graphic production, all the graphics. And I said, okay, I need to create a huge file and for help so someone can just illustrate it, point it. So we did a layer with all the protests. And this one, the main part of the story. So initially I did all the reporting myself and my other colleague, and then we put all of this information in one huge, big Illustrator file. The result you can see, the initial project or the main project of this was to show every day level of violence and what happened every day. Obviously, it's not every day. It's like 3 days in 1 week, but we do it chronologically, so you can actually see the real projects. Here you can see the level of production. And for all of this, you need to do it at 3 different sizes because some of them are just huge, and then over one, you need to do it for mobile and tablet and all this stuff. So this is more or less the project. I will show you live because I think it's huge. You know, as I said, I'm photojournalist and I really like photos and videos. As you know, SMP is very known that they use a lot of crazy illustration. They are very talented. But I mean, I can do illustration, but it's not my real skill. So I was thinking, I don't want to do illustration. All of this stuff, like people hitting or like police versus protesters, all of this stuff. So I just say, I think we have a huge team, photo team. So I realized I will ask for photos. And they said, can you give me access to this folder and I can just show you? Oops, sorry. So yeah, this is a combination of photos, huge photos. I do a lot of diagrams, and also I'm using a lot of maps as well. So as you can see, this is a real locator maps, but this is combined with photos. So, and also for this one, I really want to do and show the real level of violence because I was noticing in my home country there are a lot of fake news about the real violence for specific days of the protests. So I was thinking, I need to show the truth. So we do some analysis with all the data that we have, how many people we have, all the visual and photos, and photos, videos, visual elements. And we say, okay, this was very violent, and this was just a peaceful protest, or this was like middle. So based on that, we analyze as a newspaper. Okay, we can say that this day is just peaceful protest, so this was violent protest. So when you are doing some scroll, let me show you here. So well, initially you can see the project now. Just double check.
Yeah.
Christina. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I did. Well, this is a huge map. This is the main map that I did in Illustrator when I put all the dots on all the streets that will be affected by the protest. So you actually can see a lot of stuff happening there. And you know, this is fun because it's not fun, but you know, this is quite interesting when we are doing it because we realize that the process will be moving across all the city every month. So that will be actually the key point for the print as well. Because for all the projects that I did at SMP, I also did a print version that I actually enjoyed a lot. Because, you know, print, you need to be very precise. You need to be very straightforward. Like in digital is fun because you can do something with scroll, but for print, you need to be very clear. And the way the people who read all the use huge graphics is completely different. Especially we're talking about everything right now is mobile. So it's like use one column and use straightforward. It's kind of tricky and it's hard. And to do innovative stuff, you need to do like real stuff. But for print, the essence of print is like very static. It's like just show everything, and you cannot do interactive stuff to hide and show information. So yeah. So for this one, digital, I started this showing the evolution of all the locations of all the process. Obviously, you know, can be better because I just want to do it like this huge big picture before showing the real locator maps. So I do this diagram showing the real level of violence between all of these dates. And then a lot of diagrams showing this is one tear gas that fired in one day versus almost a few months off. So you can see that day was huge. The level of tear gas between all of those days is completely shocking. And then we are starting like doing this daily, and you can see this bar on the bottom that is moving when you are crossing. So yeah, I love to do this conversation from total photos. And you can actually stop because, you know, imagine doing this illustration. Even the SMP is very good, and we have a lot of illustrators. I was thinking, no, this is not my style, and I don't want to do this, especially because this is a lot of data. In data, I mean a lot of text and photos and description and all that stuff. So I used to start doing this. Sometimes we have days when we only have photos, good photos. Sometimes it's better to show like what's happening because the logistics of the protest was very confusing or very interesting because they attack one building, important building in Hong Kong, and then there's moving other people. So I was thinking, I need to show the level of importance of this kind of buildings. As you know, here we have a good example of the locator. So when we started this Wednesday, when we have a lot of 81 protesters injured and police injured and a lot of arrests, this was the starting of the protest. So we have this still locator map, and then we have this photo showing the massive elements. And we have all of these tear gas. And then we can explain some details because we are doing a lot of small graphics. So the people can end up in their stories about what kind of bullets they are using, or what will be the impact in the body. You are fired with all of these rubber bullets, all of this stuff. So I was thinking, okay, they use these bullets, a few, so maybe we can add it there. So yeah, the project is very long. It's a long read, but then I was using like this. This is massive. This is my favorite part because you have this massive photo. This is one of the streets, because one day we are a million of people in the street just protesting, peaceful. If you can see there in the bottom, this is a peaceful person, just people marching, that's it. But if you show how big is this, let me show you one example when I am talking about. So,
I love how the photo shows like the magnitude of this protest with this format as well.
Yeah, I mean, I love to use photos, and for this one, it's better to show photos because, you know, this is shocking. So, and then I'm daltonic, so I used to work with dark background. So just get used to, because almost all my project is dark. But for photos and multimedia pieces, the dark background works better.
Yeah, they stand out.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, well, for me, it's easy because you can start working like this, grayscale, black and white, and then you can actually use a very strong color, and that will be so. Well, you know, you can take a look. This is a long read. The project is very long, and you can explain what happened every day. Sometimes we don't have data because, you know, this is kind of tricky sometimes to get the real data. So if we are not sure at the moment, you say, okay, just better not put how many injured police. We don't have arrests that day, or maybe we are not sure about if it's 10 or 5, just put 10 plus or whatever. So yeah, let me show. We have this. This is no video. I love to use this GIF kind of stuff. We can actually read too much now. You see, this is kind of photos that are quite shocking. So this was like a multimedia piece. But the main of this is that we have these huge maps that actually, for example, this one is like a mapping of the NTR. So that they close like one of the 4 or 5 important lines. And you know, this is a small city, we have a lot of density, population, all this stuff. So if the people don't have car and all this stuff. So if you close NTR or subway, this is massive. And this is how bad the protests and huge was for the city, because all the city collapsed. It's like lockdown. At that moment, sometimes you prefer to stay home because it can be very tricky. They have like pro-mainland versus real protesters. So this was like non-stop protest. Initially, the project was for only 1 month, but when I pitched it to my boss and he tried to pitch to the editor, they say, okay, this can be very controversial and I need to be very sure because we cannot take bans. Like we cannot go police or pro-protesters. We need to be neutral because this is very sensitive. And the project was delayed a few, but that actually at the end was better because I actually reached the 100 days. So my boss and I said, okay, let's do it 100 days because it's like a huge number. And we published. So as you say, this is a real use of locator maps. We have a lot of details, a lot of maps, a lot of diagrams. You can use photo, you can use illustrations, and you know, this is a good example that one project that I will use a lot of locator maps as a key part of the story. Let me show you the last one because I don't know, maybe I skip. Yeah, that one. This is my story, huge photo. And then use a few.
Pablo, I think you broke off. Okay, it seems like Pablo dropped off for a second. Maybe he's rejoining in a second. In the meantime, Benji shared the link to the Hong Kong protest article in the chat, if you're curious to check it out. Hi there. Pablo? I think it's still connecting.
Okay.
I think you're
Can
back.
you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. You know,
Always.
my internet here is. Let's keep this project because I show a lot. And I'll show another example. Okay. Please let me know if now you can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, let's skip it. Well, yeah, this is one of my favorite parts. We have all of these photos, then we have this small detail of the photo, and then we have this map showing. This is just a small portion of this area when you see this area. So all of the photo that you actually see there is just a small area of this map. So this is a combination of locator maps, using photo, using video. You can use illustration as well. If you feel free to take a look, this is a huge important project. Actually, this project was used for one paper from university here in Hong Kong, showing how because we unfolded all of these events. Okay. And then, as I said, I did a print version, my favorite part. And I talked before, you know, the evolution of the protest, you can actually see this is this is area proportional kind of graphic. So this is the first maps. So we have this double spread. So I asked for double spread for Saturday. I want to do a huge map showing all of this. So this is the first month, this is the second month, and this one, and the right side is just 2 months, the last 2 months. And this is the final result. So the maps itself were also area parts. And then as some illustrator, Adolfo Arranz is very good. He helped me with all the illustrations for the bottom and did all the diagrams, all the dots, all this stuff. So this is more or less, and we put this QR code so that people can use scan it and go to the digital version. And this project was featured in the latest Nazis Atlas design volume book with all real cartographers. I'm there, but I'm not cartographer. I just lucky enough to be part of this. So yeah, this is the final result. It's kind of the same. But this is the example that I showed before, that, in print, you need to be straightforward. It's just the location, and we have all the size of the dots depends on the violence, and also the color of the circle mean the level of violence. So yeah, this is the print version. And then I started working for Bloomberg and did kind of similar project, but it's like the aftermath of the protest, because a lot of buildings, a lot of business, a lot of stuff just move around. For this one, I started a new map. This is the real QGIS file. We have all of this with some providers. And for this one, we have a better provider for map. So I have like more real data. And then I was just inspired by this game, Cyberpunk. And so I was thinking, even GTA, I'm very fan of this kind of games. So I was thinking, I need to do the new maps of this project, because this project is related with show how a lot of buildings just move out of the city, how even the city is reshaping itself, the landscape, after the protests and the new law. Is like the rule of law, all of stuff. So this is, for this one, I have all of this data, and also we have more detailed data. So yeah, this is, I have like the real location for all of the tilgas. We have it in the past, but this was by the Hong Kong University, and they use technology with mobile locally. So this is very tricky, and they handle to us, and so this is completely different. For this one, I decided, instead of showing the whole Hong Kong map like I did in the other project, I just realized I just want to keep separate the areas. So I just divide Hong Kong in 3 areas, like New Territory next to the border with mainland, and then Kowloon area, and then the Hong Kong Island. And the project, this is the same. It's like showing photos, the real before and after. So you can actually see here, we have like this before and after photos when the protest living there in the days, and then like this mall, so you can actually.
Pablo? And I don't think we can hear you. Okay, I think we need to give Pablo a second to reconnect. In the meantime, you can go ahead and post your questions in the Q&A.
Yeah, sorry guys.
No worries.
I don't know what happened. Let's see if I can start again. Okay, I will try to do it quick, because instead of topics, I can just go with the slides, and maybe only show the. Okay. So yeah, so basically you can see here the before and after photos. It's kind of similar to the previous project. And we have a lot of map data. It's the same, like type.
I can see you, Pablo, but I can't hear you.
Okay.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay, you can see me. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe if I switch off my video, like eat up less bandwidth.
Yeah, you know, maybe I can disable my video. So
yeah, maybe they'll make it. I'll disable mine too, and then maybe that will help.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, let's
Please.
do it again. Okay, so yeah, this story is about idea colleague showing the difference between using trains instead of planes in Europe. So for this one, we start doing like I started again doing a huge file with a lot of detail of cities. And for this one, we have a lot of data for the specific routes. So I was thinking, okay, maybe we can just try to do the interactive but obviously we are talking about interactive, so scroll detailing interactive stuff, because the people only want to scroll. They don't want to click anything. So I was thinking you need to force it, just scroll down and everything happen. We have some details about there. The colors, again, dark background. So yeah, this is the style of the project. So when you scroll down, there happening a lot of stuff, and you can actually see the details of the specific routes and showing some information. This is more Bloomberg green. So this is, we publish a story because we are showing that this is like it's greener to use night trains instead of flying, because you know the pollution generated by planes is insane. So this is an example of use interactive mapping as a key part of the story. This is the main QG file. For this one, we use Canvas. So when we're using Canvas, we can just show and then we use a SVG path, and with Canvas, just follow this path and hiding and showing some layers. Because I did this map because we have to have like a good resolution when we have to zoom in. We did a lot of iterations. The result, the final result is quite simple, but we have to do like a real good resolution for some of them. This is another example of these maps. This is one of the things that I did for Bloomberg. Really 3 laws between so 19.
Sorry about that. It seems like we're having some technical issues today. Let's just give Pablo a second to reconnect. Okay, it looks like we have you back.
This is embarrassing, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Anyway.
I think it's actually when you're sharing the video, or at least that's what I know.
So yeah, I don't know like that.
I think it's okay when you're in the browser or the presentation, but it
okay, yeah, I think you are right. Yeah, I think we can skip it.
All right, yeah.
So so let me show you the real example. Maybe I can just do sharing here instead of the real presentation. So for this kind of map, we have interactive. So this is more or less the interactive map. So we do this and hello this style, and then we have this crops with showing the chronological time lapse of the real tree loss. So it's when you scroll down. I think in the iPad Pro it's not working very well, but this is all. But yeah, so when you scroll up and scroll down, it's just bottom top, like with this fading stuff, but actually you can see the real the evolution of this, how this area is struck by the tree loss. And this is one example that you use, like you can use a sample. You can just put there like GIFs, but with this, definitely you can make interactive because this is triggered by scroll. So that will be very easy. This is one example. Again, another dark background. Let me go check the other stuff. And then we have this example, interactive maps. This is the Tokyo Olympics project. For this one, I just create this crazy cartogram where the people can actually see I mean, this is normal. This is like a real metal counter tracker. But this was kind of funny to do it in that way. This is a kind of different way and this is one of the main part of the story because actually you can see this kind of dashboard, you can actually see the map as a main part. And then I did also all of this with an click, all of these pictograms, very abstract kind of Japanese style. Let's see. And then this is my favorite kind of mapping. I think I will skip it doing the presentation using this slide because this slide is like, I don't know what happened with this. But I will show you, this is one of the projects that I did for Bloomberg before in S&P before I left. This is about the Australian fires. This kind of use is like using the shape of the map as a main feature of the story. I really like to adapt myself during the storytelling and using the real shape, crazy, irregular shape of the maps to do the storytelling. So I will show you maybe because I think we are doing time. I can show you use two different examples. This one is like for print graphics. And this is, you can see, I just adapt myself all of the shape of this map. And then another graphic that I did is about the permafrost, the ticking bomb. So this is the original QGIS file, and I just adapted for print with the same. So I just adapt myself to the real style of the mapping. And then I just build the print graphics. And then I will show you another project. This is another project that I did for Bloomberg as well, with another colleague in New York about the highways, how the people are just moving. I guess. So this one, we did it with Rachel. She asked me for help and I just realized. So it's about how to reconnect Black communities torn apart by highways. So again, for this one, I was thinking maybe we can do this with symmetric crazy stuff. So you can scroll down. This is like all buildings owned by Black communities. And they just put a highway on top of this. So this is very shocking. It's very sad. And for this one, we have density data. So I was thinking, maybe we can do this crazy circles, but keep the highways. This is a small detail, so you can actually keep the highways outside the real area, and you actually can understand. It's quite different because you can just keep it, but these small details, you can leave it there. They will pop up to the charts. So the people understand, okay, this highway is coming even from this area, but we are just from this area. So yeah, this is quite a dynamic area. More charts. As I say, I study architecture and he is architect. So for me, it was very exciting to work with her because we have the same passion about buildings, all of this stuff, urban areas. And we have this whole like kind of color because, you know, when we work with people, you need to, everyone has a style. So as you know, I am a more visual, I use photos and she is more colorful. Yeah, so the result was very fun. I really enjoyed it. So you can actually see the before and after. I enjoy use GIFs and videos because they are very used. And now you can use it with A2HTML. So you can actually use it and put it inside. And it's very, very good. So yeah, this is more or less the same. And then another project, this is one of the latest projects that I did. Before the same day I resigned, I just published this. And this is a good example of huge main maps. And this how you can actually reshape your story with this kind of mapping. So this is about palm oil. I spent months analyzing data, and especially looking at satellite data about fires. And we have the real concessions of plantations. Some of them are just certified and the other are not certified. But even if you are certified, you are saying that you are not firing the forest or tree loss or doing damage. But the data show that actually even they are certified, they are doing a lot of damage. So for this one, I was excited to do like a huge map because it's exciting. You can, and the shape of these maps are quite fun to play with, especially for digital. And you know, all the projects that I did from Bloomberg, we don't have print for Bloomberg, so only at SMP I did a lot of print graphics. For this one is for digital. So we have this high demand. I did the abstract map, and then we have all of this, and then try to do this kind of fun stuff, more analyzed data. But then I just add this huge map showing the fire detections, the plantations outside the concessions, because the concessions are land granted by the government to produce a lot of palm oil. And you know, palm oil is in almost everything that you eat. Some people try to boycott palm oil, but actually palm oil is the more efficient land crop instead of soy or sunflower. So yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of tricky because you cannot, if you are using palm oil, actually you are doing good, but the problem is the way that the smallholders, people that are no huge company, they just fire everything because they are desperate to be part of this huge industry. So you can actually see this is a huge map. And for this one, I just leave it there and I will just follow the shape and pull data, and even for mobile. So we have this, you know, this is a static. We can actually fade in this yeah, like this heat map that I did. Well, actually all of this is in QGIS. So I use Python to analyze. I create this grid with Exa or heat maps. And then I use to counting for all of this area. And I just put the data. So you actually see in some areas when we have like plantation, for example, like this, we have a lot of fires. Or even here, when we have this certified plantation, they burn a lot, even they are certified. And actually, you know, the QGIS, you can actually get the data, the real company, all the stuff, but that will be another world. So I just leave it like this, it's certified and certified plantations or green plantations. And then, yeah, so, and then obviously we have the Peninsula Malaysia when we have all of this. So for this big story, I just try to keep the same keep the shape of this and huge, and I could just adapt my story, follow this. And this is a good example of another kind of use of mapping. No need to be always keep it in this size and put it here. Like a small area, you can actually create a story and do this, all of this called put annotations. Well, this is more my experience, my style, obviously, but I embrace everyone if you like this to do it, because for the user, I don't know, it's interesting. And also we have this, the breeding areas, so like this tropical moist forest, that means the forest that is still there. And if you remember the other graphic that I did in black and white, this is the same area. And this is all plantations there. Across the year, they are just smashing Peninsular Malaysia. And obviously because the high demand of this is insane. And the people doesn't know about it. So yeah, and also we have a lot of animals that are just dying because of this, but I don't want to touch that. I will skip it for the business angle. But yeah, this is the last project that I did before I resigned to Bloomberg, and I just keep it like this huge map as a main feature. Obviously I do this as well. It's like using Google Earth to show new plantations, because now there's a lot of plantations in in Peru. And a lot of areas in Africa as well, because this is the demand is there. Obviously, if you can see these areas, looks like in maybe 10, 20 years, there will be no space to continue satisfying the high demand, or supplying the high demand. So this is what I meant. Let me see if I missed something. No, I think that's it. Well, this is another story. You can see my portfolio. Sorry about the interruptions during all the talk. And also I started a newsletter. I have 4 newsletters already. Because I enjoy it. I just created one monthly newsletter where I just share ideas, or like tools, tricks, or a lot of other projects, people, initiatives, or something to just talk about what I'm working right now. But this is less important. It's more important to share stuff that someone given to me, and I can just give it to the people. So yeah, I mean, it's part of try to embrace everyone doing maps and doing storytelling and doing graphics. Yeah, so that's it. Sorry about the interruption of my internet, all the stuff. But yeah.
No worries, Pablo, it happens. Thank you so much for the presentation. And I'm subscribed to Pablo's newsletter, and I can highly recommend it. It's super interesting. I actually discovered a lot of stuff that kind of I didn't get a chance to see before. So thank you for putting that together. Okay, so we have about 10, 12 minutes left. And I see there's some questions here. Pablo, somebody's asking, how long did it take you to make the Hong Kong protest article?
The first one, the 100 days, it took me actually 3 months already. Well, I started before, and I think it's 4 months, because obviously the initial goal was to publish when we reach 1 month. But, the editor were not sure about this. We need to ask for legal advice if we can publish this. So the story was on hold for a while. But we, instead of just dropping the story, I said my boss, just keep adding stuff, and we have more data. But yeah, it's more I don't know, can be, because even the same day when we publish, the day before we have protests or something like that. So even we have to add stuff. And then I did another project, it's 6 months of protest. It's another project related to this, when I just do like this. Instead of 3 months, I did 6 months. But yeah, I think this project is around maybe 3 months, yeah.
Also, people want to know what tools you're using.
I'm using QGIS only. I don't have any experience in a lot of Arc Pro, all of the stuff. I want to learn that. And I don't use this list JavaScript library. I'm more like QGIS stuff.
What do you use for interactive prototyping or for coding? Do you use any additional stuff?
Well, JavaScript only. Yeah, I mean, depends, because for SMP, I used to work with, like, I have a lot of freedom. So if I find a library that actually works for us, for example, I did a project about the text name. So you need to press your button. I use a special library, you can press and they will be playing videos, all of this stuff. So depends on the media. For example, Bloomberg, they use a lot of Svelte, and they use a lot of D3, they use normal JavaScript, and then you AES. So depends on the, for example, for almost all the projects that I did for Bloomberg, I used this observation style of it. You can control with JavaScript. It's just code on, you show and hide stuff. But I mean, depends on the project. I think if you really want to do something with 3D, like one building, you will ask someone to help you trying to use 3ds or Canvas. Or, for example, we use Canvas for the train story. Mm-hmm. For the other one, it's just a static, and we have this tool, this script for New York Times that everyone is using, the 828.05. So you can actually generate data, and that's it. But everything is more triggered by scroll, like fade in, fade out, or simple JavaScript. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Someone else wants to know if you use storyboards to plan the graphic before starting, or how do you go about that?
Yeah, actually, well, I was using a lot of tools like for prototyping, and I use a Sketch app. It's similar to Adobe XD, but I use a lot to prototyping. But for print, when I was using print on digital, I did the opposite. I started for print, and they do the digital. But as we pitch stories, and we pitch stories, obviously we have to get the information first. Or even if we are doing a project with a coworker, this can be tricky because we need to identify because when we are approached by reporter, okay, I want to do this, I have this, but when we analyze the data, it's like, this is not as powerful. This is maybe no need to be visual, can be shown in one paragraph. You can say this percentage of destruction, whatever happened, you can put it there, and that's it. But so yeah, this can be tricky when we are doing your own projects. Well, in my case, I just get the data, and we need to do the script. I have to do all the writing, and okay, how I can imagine this. And so sometimes I prototype in Illustrator. So obviously I use paper, but lately I'm using the iPad Pro. So I use this Procreate. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's easy. Even when I have like half of the project done, I just do I do a screenshot of the project, and I just open it in Procreate, and it's doing a lot of iterations. Okay, maybe we can change the view, maybe. So yeah, it's like back and forward between platforms, like no platform, like devices. Sometimes I just put stuff in the iPad and then just manually. But all the visual process is after I have the text of all the report, like the reporting side, because if not, that can be tricky. Because especially when we are talking about this newspaper driven by the news, all of the stuff, and they have like this editorial agenda. So sometimes it's better to, okay, this is the story, this is the text. Are you happy with this? Okay, this looks good, and then just try to build an interactive story, or maps, or graphics, or I don't know. So, but initially the process will be the text first, and then visual. Like following
what you said about fitting
the information. Yeah.
Yeah, like what you said about fitting using the shape of the map as an actual visual element, and then fitting the text and the annotations around that. I think that's really cool.
Exactly.
So Adina is asking, how many projects are you working on at the same time, and if you support other people in the newsroom with your skills and with their stories?
So, well, in essence, I was doing a lot of stuff. So I was helping a lot, creating digital stuff. Can you hear me?
Pablo?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Do you mind switching off the video? I think it like we can't hear you well when the video is on. I think you froze.
Sorry. That was the question?
Yeah, I was just saying, do you think it's better if you switch off the video? I think it will work. Then the connection will be a bit better.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
Sorry
the
again.
question was, how many projects are you working on simultaneously, and whether you support other people in the newsroom with your skills?
Yeah, actually, I did a lot of supporting in Bloomberg, especially in Bloomberg. I did a lot of supporting other people. Actually, I just did one project by myself during my 1.5 years. When I pitch my story, I have to pitch it to the editors, and then it's about the Sherpas and the Everest who were affected. I did all the reporting, interviews of people. They're like a real reporting, but the rest is just helping other people. Sometimes they approached me and asked me, "Oh, I want to collaborate with you," or maybe I just approach her. I have the idea, but it's more related with US because obviously I focus in Asia. So I have an idea about the Thanksgiving mobilization or the traffic data, and okay, maybe we can do that. And I just pitch the idea and collaborate with them, and they just do the project in the US. But in Bloomberg, I did a lot of collaboration. In S&P, I was doing my own stuff, a lot of my own stuff, but also I was handling the digital production. I was like in charge or leading the other people production for published digital stories and trying to recreate a new process for the templates. But yeah, so it depends, but I actually am. Sometimes I'm working in 2 different projects at the same time besides with collaboration, like my own projects, but depends on the agenda and all this stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, this kind of ties in with Benji's question that how and who and how defines the topics that you work on, if this comes from your initiative or the editors or.
Sometimes, well, all the protest stuff was my initiative. I can say that mostly all of the S&P projects was my initiative. In Bloomberg, I use maybe, for example, palm oil was my initiative. The Everest story that you can actually see in the portfolio as well is my initiative. But the other project is just collaboration, and some of them is just part of the agenda. I mean, you are free to pitch your own stuff, and that will be attached to real news. But everything is on right now is everything about coronavirus, and it's gonna be tricky. But yeah, I mean, you're always free to pitch your own stories, but you need to do well. I was trying to show another kind of projects, but we don't have time. But it's more related with the news, like driven by the editorial stuff. But it's like 50-50, I can say. I will say it's 50-50.
Yeah, I just had actually one last question if we have quickly time. You said that people don't really like to interact with, they don't click around so much or they don't explore so much. Do you find that like the scrolling is the kind of the one interaction that you get like most like positive response on, or like, what's your experience basically with the interactive versus static?
Yeah, I mean,
mapping?
In my small experience, I will say that the people prefer static stuff, but good stuff. Like these maps that I showed you before, it's not saying that this is the formula for everything. It's my personal opinion. But I mean, even I remember one talk from Malufie, when the editor of the graphics for New York Times, he published a lot of data that's showing that the people doesn't click any kind of graphic. And if you are relying in this newspaper that actually is one of the biggest and the main newspaper in the world, I think I will say that way this is, and in my experience, we publish a lot of interactive graphics. We realize when we have these metrics analytics that the people doesn't click.
Interesting. Well, thank you, Pablo, for today's presentation, and sorry everyone for the technical difficulties. I would highly recommend that you go check out more of Pablo's work on his website and follow him on Twitter and his newsletter, which is great. Thank you, Benji and Gabriele, for co-organizing this with us. So this is the last event of the year, so I'll wish you all happy holidays until we see you again in January for our next meetup, which will take place on the 27th of January, 2022, and where we will talk about, we'll have some guests talking about data sonification, which is turning data into sound. I hope to see you all there, and thank you everyone for attending and for bearing with us through the technical difficulties, and thank you, Pablo, for showing your work.
Yeah, sorry guys.
A bit
Feel
of
free to reach me if you have any questions.
But yeah, you can just reach out to Pablo on Twitter, or
Yeah,
and
to answer any question. I'll reply. Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. And also feel free to reach out to Benji, Gabriele, or me with any ideas or topics for any future meetups, any comments. And thank you all again for attending, and Pablo for the presentation.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry for the trouble. It's a shame. I was excited to show more stuff, but anyway. Feel free to reach me on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Please just go to Pablo's website, and you can see a lot more stuff there.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.